Hello everyone and welcome to today's gentle flow. I hope that you're having a wonderful day so far. We're going to go through quite a dynamic gentle flow today, so we'll have options for progressing into some different poses. Excuse Bowie, he is just here in the background today. So feel free to take the first option or to work into some deeper poses if that feels good for you. Always taking the option, as always, that feels good for your body. So to begin with, let's just come into a really comfortable seat and get started by crossing the legs, taking the palms onto the knees, just lengthening the spine and closing the eyes down. Bowie, do you mind? Let's start to lengthen the breath here. Drawing smooth, deep breaths in through the nostrils. And releasing the breath out slowly and evenly on the exhalation. As we feel ourselves start to relax in the shoulders, in the face, and in the neck, we might start to find ourselves settling in a little bit more to our practice. When you get to this stage, I invite you to set an intention for your practice today. Whatever that may be to you, completely up to you, allowing whatever comes through to really just settle and be your intention if that feels good. Perhaps as you set your intention, bringing the palms up to the heart space, closing the eyes down, and repeating your intention a few times in your mind to yourself. After setting your intention, let's just allow the eyes to flutter open, gazing out in front. And then taking the hands all the way to behind the neck, behind the head, around to the base of the neck. Let's just begin to warm up through the head and the neck and the shoulders. So starting as we breathe in to lift the chin, reaching the elbows behind us. As we breathe out, pulling the chin down to the chest, maybe pulling those elbows forward. Letting this be really slow and gentle to begin with. Deep breaths in, lifting the chin. Gazing up towards the ceiling, and then as you breathe out, rounding, dropping the chin down to the chest. Just one more time. Then slowly allowing those hands to come down. Maybe just rolling the neck around in a few circles. Beautiful. Let's start to move into the lower body now and start to stretch out through the hamstrings. We're going to extend the right leg long and pull that left sole of the foot in towards the right inner thigh. Let's turn the belly button towards that right knee and start to walk the hands forward towards the toes, down the right leg. We're folding forward over this right leg. Hands can be over on the sides, on each side of the leg, or reaching towards the toes. Whatever feels good for you, allowing yourself to fold forward. Acknowledging where you are right now in your practice. Maybe it's the morning and you're practicing and you're quite cold. Just being mindful of the expectations that you're having of your body and the flexibility of your body at this stage in your practice. Deep breaths in, lengthening through the back of that right leg. And deep breaths out, softening the heart space down over the thigh. Let's slowly start to return, walking the hands back up. Lifting the spine long. Let's start to turn the belly button now towards the left knee. And let's bend that right knee, coming into sort of a zigzag position with the legs. Turn the belly button towards the left knee. Let's take the hands over to the side of the body on the left side. Let's fold forward, taking a really beautiful fold over to the left. Maybe coming onto the forearms. Noticing that twist through the spine. You might stay here, or maybe come up onto that left palm and start to open the right arm up, coming into really nice side stretch. Deep breaths in and long, slow breaths out as we enjoy this stretch down the right side of the body. Slowly returning the right palm to the mat and walking the hands all the way back to the front. Returning that spine to neutral. And let's switch sides with the legs. Starting to switch them over completely. Left leg is long. Right sole of the foot comes into the inner thigh of the left leg. Let's turn the belly button to the left and start to walk the hands all the way forward to take a hold of the left big toe with the peace fingers, or to just take the hands down onto the floor and fold the forehead down towards the knee. Relaxing the shoulders, softening the face, and just noticing how the leg is feeling all the way down the back of that left leg. Perhaps flexing the foot if you want to move a little deeper. Let's take one more deep breath in here. And just one more deep breath out. Slowly returning all the way back up. Walking the hands in towards the body. Turning the belly button towards that right knee. And then bending through that left leg. Swinging it around so that we can come into this fold on the other side. Taking maybe the forearms down to the mat. Feeling that twist through the spine, noticing where it feels really good here. Again, maybe we stay here with this position, or maybe we come up onto the right palm and start to lift the left hand overhead, coming into that side stretch on the other side. Letting that bicep come in line with the ear, fingertips reaching overhead. Well done, deep breaths in. And deep breaths out. Slowly releasing that left hand down when you're ready. And starting to walk the hands back to center. Coming all the way up to that straight neutral spine. Good, and let's just start to swing the legs over to one side. Take the hands down onto the mat, knees down onto the mat, finding your tabletop pose. Maybe finding a few gazes back towards the toes on each side of the body. And then finding extension through the spine as we breathe in just a few times, lifting the chin, lifting the sit bones. And then flexion as we breathe out, rounding the spine up towards the ceiling, finding cat pose. Back down to cow as we breathe in, heart space reaches forward, lifting the chin and squeezing the shoulder blades. Exhale, let's round the spine. Just one more round of breath here. Deep breath in. Exhale, rounding the spine. Very good. Finding that neutral spine. Let's start to tuck the toes under from here. Lift the hips high. Finding your downward facing dog. Well done. Let's pedal out through the feet, remembering we'd rather press the chest back further towards the legs and bend the knees, lifting the heels. Then have the chest rounded forward and the legs straight. So aim on lifting or tilting the sit bones up towards the ceiling. And then slowly softening those heels down towards the ground. Just pedaling out through the feet for a few breaths. Pressing into all 10 fingertips. And allowing the ears to come in line with the biceps here. Really nice and relaxed through the neck. Shoulders switched on. Then just one more deep breath in. As you exhale, soften both heels down. Let's take a deep breath in. Let's lift our right leg high. Find your three-legged down dog. Option is to stay here. Second option here is to start to open through the hips, bending the right knee, taking the toes down towards the mat behind the body. Letting that hip lift up towards the ceiling and the belly button open over to the right side. As we exhale, let's move that knee back to center. Pull the knee all the way in towards the chest and over towards the left elbow, twisting towards the left. Very good. From here, we extend the right leg out. The blade edge of the foot comes down. Plant the left heel down and lift up through the left hand, reaching the hips up a little further. Pressing the heart space open, reaching through those fingertips. Very good. We've done fallen start. Deep breath in here. As we breathe out, let's bring the left palm down. Start to bend through that right knee, bringing it back to the left elbow. Then inhale, take it all the way up and back. Find that three-legged down dog. Good. Again, option to open here. Bending the knee, lifting that right hip. Good. Deep breath in, pressing through the palms. As you exhale, knee comes back to center. Pull the knee into the heart space, rounding the spine. Let's step the foot between the palms. Good, let's find a low crescent lunge from here. Lower the back knee down, untucking the toes if it feels good. The hips can be over the back knee or pressing forward if you're a little looser through that hip flexor. Let's reach the fingertips up towards the sky. Maybe thinking about lifting the heart space up and forward. And perhaps if it feels good, lifting the chin, gazing between the palms. Maybe even reaching the hands back a little behind the head. Finding a slight back bend and making sure to avoid compression in the lower back by thinking about creating space in the spine and lifting the heart space. Deep breath in. Exhale, let's lower those hands down, framing the front foot. Good. Hips start to pull back, lengthening through the right leg, finding a really beautiful hamstring stretch. You can choose to flex the foot for an even deeper stretch through the back of that right leg. Take it all the way up to a straight spine if you need a little bit less. If you want more, folding forward, forehead comes towards the shin. Keep the hips even. Deep breaths, releasing a little bit more tension through that right hamstring each time you exhale. Let's start to roll the hips forward, bending through that right knee and planting the hands down to frame the front foot. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. Good, let's start to reach that right leg back. Take it all the way up and back. Let's find our three-legged down dog one last time. And perhaps again, opening the hip up towards the ceiling, bending the knee. Pressing through both palms, take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, again, hips move back around to face towards the mat. Knee comes in onto the outside of the right elbow this time. Let's plant the foot down on the outside of the right hand, finding our lizard pose. Very good. You might find you want to lift up onto the fingertips here, keep the hips a little higher. Or if you'd like to move deeper, start to lower the back knee down. Maybe untucking the toes, or maybe even taking the left hand out to the left and starting to move towards corkscrew pose. Opening the right toes out to the right, bending through the left knee and reaching back with the right fingertips to take a hold of the top of the left foot. Again, just taking this option if it feels really accessible and good to you. Take a deep breath in. Wherever you are, exhaling, releasing that tension, softening and lengthening. Deep breath in. If you're in corkscrew, just starting to release that back foot, taking both palms back to center, and starting to move that right knee back to face the top of the mat. Good, let's tuck the back toes under. Lift the back knee, and from here, stepping the left foot forward, you can inch it forward if you need to, all the way out over onto the outside of that left hand. We're lowering the hips right down, finding a Malasana squat. Very good. Elbows press onto the insides of the knees here. We lengthen the spine, feeling the belly expand as we breathe in, and pull back in towards the spine as we breathe out. Notice the hips opening, the knees opening, the ankles opening, turning out, and each is tracking over the other. Making sure those toes aren't turned really far out and the knees are coming inwards towards the midline. Let's just take one more deep breath in here, resting. One more deep breath out. You can just stay here if you like or move to a forward fold. But if you would like to explore crow pose, a balancing posture, feeling free to take the palms down onto the mat and starting to lift the hips, taking the toes back behind you a little. Start to move the knees up onto the triceps. All of the weight comes onto the palms. Fingers are spread nice and wide, round through the upper back. And then maybe just lifting one foot at a time, gently finding your crow pose. You can round even more through the upper back, switching on through the core. Deep breath in. Then slowly releasing the feet down when you feel ready, reaching the hips high and finding your forward fold at the top of the mat. Just letting yourself hang here, finding ragdoll if that feels good. Knees can bend, belly coming onto the thighs and holding each elbow in opposite hands here. You can sway from side to side. Well done. Just allowing the shoulders to melt towards the ears. All of the muscles in the face are relaxed. Let's just take one more deep breath in. And as we breathe out, release those fingertips down towards the mat. Take a deep breath in, halfway lift. Fingertips to the shins, making that right angle from the legs to the upper body. Exhale to fold. Let's come all the way up, bending through the knees. Circle sweep your arms, bring your palms together overhead. Exhale, let's fold all the way back down, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift halfway. Fingertips to the shins or the thighs, shoulders roll back. Exhale to fold all the way down, planting the palms and stepping or walking or floating the feet back. Finding your plank pose. You can press the hips straight up and back to find downward facing dog here. Or if you like, finding plank and starting to move through your chaturanga. Knees can lower down or stay lifted. Exhale, elbows bend straight back. Inhale, lift to your baby cobra or your upward facing dog. Exhale to lower back down. Find your downward facing dog, lifting the hips high. Good, let's take 3 deep breaths in and 3 deep breaths out before we do it all again on the other side. Feeling free to take a child's pose if that's what your body is calling for you to do. As you exhale that third time, just softening the heels down even more, tilting the sit bones back. Let's take a deep breath in and lift the left leg high. Finding our 3-legged down dog. And again, option to lift and bend through that left knee. Toes come towards the mat behind you. As we exhale, knee comes back to center, hips squaring towards the mat. Pull the knee in towards the chest and all the way across to the right elbow. Let's lengthen that left leg. Edge of the foot plants down. Let's lift up through that right palm. Hips lift and the waist lifts towards the ceiling. Maybe we gaze up towards the top fingertips. Exhale, right hand plants back down. Bend through the left knee. Knee comes back towards the right elbow. Then take it all the way up and back. 3-legged down dog. Good. Breathing in here again, option to open. Well done. Exhale, squaring the hips and bring the knee in towards the chest. Let's step the foot between the palms, finding a low crescent lunge on the other side. Let's lower that back knee down, right toes untuck. Good. Again, hips can stay up over the back knee and just lift the arms. Or maybe you're pressing those hips forward, making sure that the knee is not overshooting the toes, and reaching the fingertips all the way overhead. We might gaze between the fingertips if the neck feels good here, remembering to roll the shoulders down and back, keeping the heart space open, lifting up. Good, maybe you even reach those hands slightly further back, finding a slight back bend. As we exhale, hands come down, framing the front foot. Let's pull the hips back from here, reaching long through that left leg. Maybe flexing the foot if that feels good to go a little bit deeper. Remembering you can lift the torso all the way up if you need to here. And then slowly allowing yourself to fold forward as it feels good. Remembering we want to first straighten through this left leg, Then we can start to flex the foot to press forward through the heel, pull back through the toes. Then we might even start to fold forward, forehead coming towards the shin. Keeping those hips pulling back evenly. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Let's slowly start to move back towards the top of the mat. Bend through that left knee and walk the hands forward, planting them on either side of the left foot. Tuck the right toes under and lift the right knee. Then let's step it back to find that three-legged down dog for the last time on this left side. Reaching the foot back and up. Finding that three-legged down dog. And again, maybe you open the hip and bend through the knee. Maybe you can peek under your right armpit and see your toes. And as we exhale, square the hips. Knee comes forward onto the outside of the left elbow. Plant the foot down on the outside of the left hand. Finding our lizard pose, lower the hips down, or maybe you lift up onto the fingertips. Good. We can stay here, engaging through the legs and keeping those hips a little higher. If you're a little bit less flexible, but you also want to incorporate a bit of strength through the legs in this class. Or maybe if you want to move deeper into the stretch, you can release the back knee down and tuck the toes, maybe even coming down onto the forearms. Really feeling that deep stretch in the groin and the hip. Or maybe once again, you move towards corkscrew, letting that left knee open to the side. Starting to move the right hand out to the right, bending through the right knee, and reaching back with the left fingertips to take a hold of the top of the foot. Wherever you are in this position, allowing yourself to find a little bit of relaxation here. Even if you're in the version of the pose where you're really switching on through the legs. Let's take one more deep breath in. If you're in corkscrew, just slowly releasing out. Taking your time, releasing the grip on that back foot. Palms come back to the top of the mat. And we start to pull that knee back in towards the midline. Very good. Start to tuck the back toes under wherever you are. Lifting the back knee, coming back to this position here. And then we gaze forward to the top of the mat. And when you're ready, walking, inching or stepping that right foot forward onto the outside of the right hand, finding our Malasana squat on the other side. So for the second time we found our Malasana squat, we're pressing the elbows onto the insides of the knees, lengthening through the spine. This can look different for every single body. So it doesn't matter if the heels are lifted, if the hips are a little higher. Just make sure it feels slightly comfortable at least, and that your knees are tracking over your toes. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Then again, if you would like, you can slowly start to shift into your forward fold, taking the fingertips down to the mat and lifting the hips. Or if you'd like to try crow pose one more time, taking the palms down to the mat in front. And starting to lift the hips high, take the toes back behind you a little. Knees come onto the triceps. Moving the weight forward over the hands, over the arms. Fingertips are spread nice and wide, upper back rounds here, pulling in and really, really switching on through the core. Then one big toe lifts at a time, and we start to balance. Even if you're just picking up one foot at a time and lowering it back down, can be a really, really important part of the process in getting comfortable with arm balances. So whenever you're ready, just taking it all the way back down, lifting the hips high, finding your forward fold. You might like to find ragdoll again here, bending the knees, taking each opposite elbow in the opposite hand. Or maybe you'd like to hug the legs in, or interlace the fingers behind the back. And let the fists reach all the way overhead, opening through the heart space. Allow yourself 3 deep breaths in and out here. Just softening, just relaxing after all that hard work. One more deep breath in. Exhale to release the fingertips down towards the mat wherever you were. Let's take a deep breath in and lift halfway, fingertips to the shins, gazing to the top of the mat. Exhale, fold. All the way up as we breathe in. Circle sweep your arms. Bring the palms together. Exhale, fold all the way back down. Beautiful. Halfway lift, one more time, breathing in. Exhale to fold. Plant the hands down. Walking or stepping or maybe floating the feet back. Finding your plank pose. Then maybe stepping straight back to downward facing dog or moving through your chaturanga, maybe even a full chaturanga this time. Remembering you can always lower the knees down if you'd like. Let's exhale, bend those elbows straight back. Inhale to find baby cobra or up dog. Exhale, press back, find downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in, tilt the sit bones high. As you exhale, lowering the knees down. Very good. Now let's start to move the right leg all the way out to the right, planting the foot down. Just right out onto this, in the same line as the right hip. Let's take a deep breath in and lift the right arm up towards the ceiling, opening to the same side as that leg. As you exhale, take the right hand all the way under the left armpit, lowering the shoulder down onto the floor. You might like to keep that left palm planted down. Or maybe if it feels really good, take it up towards the ceiling. Maybe even bending through the elbow and taking the hand down towards that right thigh. Just enjoying 3 deep breaths in here, or here, or here. And 3 deep breaths out. After your last exhale, just slowly reaching that left hand back up towards the ceiling if it was threaded behind your back. Lower it back down to the floor, planting the hand down, and slowly starting to unthread that right shoulder. Coming all the way back to center, and pulling that right knee back in. Give yourself a little round through the spine, whatever feels good. And then start to move that left foot out to the left. Straight leg, foot planted down. Let's take a deep breath in, lift through the left hand. As you exhale, threading that left arm all the way under the right armpit. Bring the left shoulder down to the mat, resting the left temple down. You might like to stay here or lift the left hand up. Only if it feels good, maybe even taking the hand down towards your left thigh. 3 deep breaths in. 3 deep breaths out. Just one more deep breath in. Long, slow breath out. Let's lift that right hand back up towards the ceiling. If it was tucked behind the back, lower that palm down and start to unthread that left arm, that left shoulder. Very slowly pulling that left knee back in. Just gently sitting back onto the heels. Let's swing the legs out in front. And start to shuffle all the way forward on the mat to make our way into our Shavasana. Lowering yourself down and just allowing the knees to drop down from side to side here for a few moments. Giving your body a few moments to tell you what it is needing from your Shavasana today. And just moving the knees back through center. Starting to hug them in towards the chest. And just rocking from side to side. Letting the breath start to slow. And starting to really soften through the shoulders. All the way down the spine, into the hips. And when you feel ready, just allowing yourself to release all the way down into your Shavasana, taking as long as you need to get really comfortable before becoming completely still. Allowing your body to become heavier and heavier and heavier here. Belly expands as you breathe in. Chest expands as you breathe in. Noticing that subtle movement throughout the body, just with your breath, without any effort, without any concentration. Allowing yourself now to just completely let go of any tension that remains in the body or in the mind. Consciously releasing it now so that you can rest in silence and in stillness for the next few minutes. Beginning to notice your breath. Exactly as it is, moving through the body right now. And just beginning to notice how you're feeling in the body and in the mind. As we come to the end of our practice today. You might like to slowly start to wriggle through the fingers and wriggle through the toes. Coming back to that intention that you set at the beginning of our session today. And just noticing whether it's something that still resonates with you as we come to the end of the class, is something that you perhaps want to work on further, even off the mat. Let's reach the arms all the way overhead when we're ready to take a big stretch. And just take your time before you slowly start to take yourself over onto one side. Maybe just rolling up into a ball and staying here for a little while. And then finally, when you feel ready, making your way up to a comfortable seat. Taking as much time as you need, not rushing anything, there's plenty of time. Let's just bring the palms together at the heart space. Closing the eyes down, relaxing the shoulders. And just taking a bow of the head in gratitude towards yourself for creating the time and the space for this practice today. Knowing that your body and your mind appreciates everything you're doing for it right now. I hope that you enjoyed this practice. I hope it was challenging and exciting and dynamic for you. And I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed. Bowie was just fast asleep. Oh, he's very tired. I hope that you had a lovely practice. I can't wait to see you soon. Bye.